Connor, hello. Matthias, hello. Greco, hello. Welcome to a Thursday. Is it Thursday? A Thursday bonus stream. Isn't that exciting? Unexpected. Keep people on their toes. Never know when to show up. I made it back in time. Which was unexpected. I feel like the camera is part of my second monitor is in the camera, so that must be too low. We shall see. We shall see. Mistake, hello. I'm glad you're here because I think you might have solved all of our problems, and now I can. Unfortunately, now that you are here, I cannot take credit for it, so I will have to credit you. Right. See what we got. See where we're at. See what we're doing. Julian, hello. Grism, hello. Okay, so we kind of half. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we half did SSAO. So this kind of works, but kind of doesn't in the sense that. And now that I think I know what the issue is, it makes a lot of sense why it's doing what it's doing. So we get the SSAO buffer in the bottom left here and apply over the top. We're not blurring or smoothing anything, so it's a little bit rough around the edges, but it's kind of okay to get going. AC, hello. But it kind of flickers pretty grimly when we move around, right? There are also some artifacts around wrapping. We just need a better sampler for it, but this will not do. So, as it was pointed out, the let's see, we just bind the camera buffer, like just poke that straight in, but the camera buffer is triple buffered. Sorry, just reading the comments. Okay, yeah, problems for future. Let's just get basic stuff going first, but it's good to know. Thanks for pointing out. I assume there's some sort of advanced functionality I can use. Anyway, we just basically take the camera buffer and poke it in, but the camera is triple buffered. So if we actually look at where we bind the camera buffer kind of a priori, we bind the range, because remember we have 3, right? So we need to make sure we bind the correct subset of the one we're on, which I think explains why it's fine when it's stable, because all 3 buffers are then effectively filled with the same data, but as soon as you move, you're reading from previous frames data. Codefox, hello. So I think, excuse me, I think we need to do this. All right, and hopefully this will fix all of our problems and we can go about and have a grand old time. Of course, it might not, and in which case further digging is required. I mean, that looks a lot more stable. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Get nice little shadows up here between the bits and bobs, the general knickknacks. Yeah, no wobble anymore. So if we bring up the thing, it's fixed all of our woes. I haven't decided whether I'm going to today blur it and sample it, like downsample it, whatever. Or if we're going to do something else, but at least that's kind of there for now. And it does add a little bit of realism to it. I also had a thought, right? Dangerous, I know, about testing the adaptive exposure. Why don't we lower the ambient light to almost 0, right, and then have some point lights in there, and then like walk through effectively some hot tunnels. I think that might look better. So let's just add some of these, right? I have no idea if this is going to do what I want it to do, but let's... If we move the light like into this corridor here, bring it up. Betty ho. So what happens if we like... Okay. Let's take the ambient light and basically turn this all the way down, or quite a lot of the way down. I suppose we can make that white. Sorry, hang on. I think that still kind of gives like a good average. Ugh. Ignore that, Z fighting. It's still quite bright, isn't it? But I think that's better. Well, can I make this like just kind of switch off entirely? And once we make this much more local, so spoopy. Yeah, I think I might need to do something similar. Get it so I can go way, way up in the high dynamic range. But I think that is kind of adapting as we go along. Yeah. Yes, stuff to do in the future, I think. But yeah, I think you might want like a super bright light in here. But I think it looks pretty good. Actually, I suppose what you could do is just add loads of lights there. I think they're all quite big, like casting. Yeah, they're blown out a little bit. It's a shame, but yeah, I think I can kind of see it a little bit more there, right? So it looks pretty washed out there, but then when you kind of get up to it, it definitely, your eye definitely adapts to it, and then you can start seeing the details a bit more. So you take this super bright point, then when we get up to it, yeah, I can kind of see that a little bit more now. I don't know if it's visible to you. But we're definitely kind of adapting our light over time. I think it's completely blown out, washed out the SSAO now. We definitely need bitmaps. I've got so much to do. Yeah, okay, I'm quite pleased with that. I think that was pretty good. Lots to do. Okay, fine. So that's good. Thank you, Mr. Steak, for fixing that. So commit fix SSAO. I think for now, I don't want to hyper focus. I kind of want to get the base level tech in for everything and then go back and make, like, I guess, like artistic and stylistic tweaks and improvements later on. We could... Oh, actually, no. One thing we do need to do first is we do need to wire in the SSAO parameters into ImGUI. That's something we definitely need to do. So let's do that now. But in terms of like blurring and like I'm using a full RGBA texture when I probably only need like a red channel, and I think you might want to take like a half size SSAO and then do some blurring. I think we're just going back and do that later. I don't want to focus too much on that at the moment. Maybe that's... I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's definitely the way I've kind of chosen to approach it. So where's the... So I think now we want... do we want to put these in a collapsible thing? I think for now it's probably all right, but once we get more options in there, we're probably going to want to start being able to collapse some of these down. No, I'm not going to add any anti-cheat. Just don't cheat, mate. So we basically have this, right? But this will be SSAO option dot sample count, and then I guess excuse me, sample count slider int, and I don't know what's good. I guess 1 to 128? Is that a good? Ooh, excuse me. Then it's gross. Excuse me. Oh, 164. Okay, fine. Thank you. Is there really no slider uint? That's really annoying. I guess that'll cast it back. That's fine. Okay, let's just check that works and see if we can see any difference. Your array isn't that big. Yeah. How do you like them apples? But yeah, no, you're right. So now we should be able to... Great. Why is it Oh, hang on. I know why. Lol. Sorry. Helps if I stick it back in the right hole. Yes. We all make mistakes. It's been a long day. I'm thinking after we've done this, I think we might have a more casual stream and refactor the renderer, because it's absolutely grim and I hate working with it. So I think that might be a bit of fun. Yes, we literally just fixed it. Well, Mistake fixed it. I was binding the camera buffer wrong, so I was effectively reading stale or old data from that. So that's why it was flickering when the camera moved. Yeah, can you see the difference? You with less samples, you get less depth. You get kind of less shadows, but it'll be faster. I do want to introduce for all the render passes OpenGL render queries. I've never done that before. If we get time today, I might look at that, because it'd be kind of nice to plot over time the amount of plot over time, how much time each pass in the render is taking us. So again, for future optimizations, we can kind of see what's going on. This needs a bit of a refactor. I'm undecided what to do with the debug renderer, because it's absolutely massive and I hate it, but I don't think it's quite mechanical refactoring it. I might just refactor that off stream. I just don't think it's fun for anyone to sit and watch me like just shift. I think there's some interesting C++ design and stuff to do for the renderer, but for the debug renderer, which is just an ImGUI wrapper, I don't think there's much to do. Interested in your thoughts. What's the radius? What's a good range of value for the radius? At the moment we're on 0.75. So what, like 0.1 to 2.0 F? Is that a good range of values? Yes. Yeah, like there's a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when I know I'm standing up and talking to lots of people, it's harder for me to spot mistakes. Also, I'm just kind of generally terrible at what I do anyway. So yeah, this again also focuses it in. I think actually if we lower the radius a bit, we get we get a decent look without too many artifacts. It's still not perfect, but it's nice to have some, it's so nice having dials to kind of play around with this. Ooh, can you see it kind of pulling out? I only just want a little bit. And finally the 386. Bias, and this is 0.025. So 0.01 to 0.1, I guess. I don't really know. What's a good range of biases? Have I typoed? Have I? It's fine. What are you chatting about? Ah, I see. I'm one step ahead of myself. So bias has a little bit of effect on it. So it's kind of. I think that's looking pretty good. There's still like so much left to do. Okay, fine. So is that if you've got lots of kind of stuff quite close like that? That's handy. Hello. Bonus stream today because I've been away a lot and I had some time this evening, so I wanted to fit one in. Wasn't really. Don't get used to it. It was a bit of bonus time. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good now. Okay, cool. Thank you. I want to put in like a. Can I put in like a label here just to break these up a bit, because I feel like it's just really. Label text SSAO options too few arguments. What is it's text? Okay, fine. And then time map options. Okay, let's see what that's like. That's better. Guys, we've done it. Ooh. What we probably could do is bring in some more models as well now that, in theory, loading is a little bit faster. Well, my whole goal of this is to make building it super easy, because it should all be done. It should have reproducible builds because it's all done with a Docker container, which I've put onto the GitHub where the equivalent of Harbor is. So it should. I think you said I might have had a missing flag somewhere, which I'll fix later. But by and large, it should. But the whole reason, my whole philosophy for this project was I wanted to be super easy to build. and upgrade compiler, because I haven't had a chance yet, but I'm going to probably switch to GCC trunk soon so we can start doing reflection. Yes. Well, you should be able to build it with the... Yes, that is, I guess that's a problem building it. There's unfortunately not really a lot I can do about that. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty cool now. I'm quite pleased with this. Yeah, because I can't use RenderDoc, I desperately needed something to visualize what was going on, so it's made a massive difference. And I guess because you've not been around for a few streams, we're plotting the luminance value over the screen, and then the average luminance, so I can do like adaptive exposure. We've got the tone mapping options, and a few other bits and bobs around, and we can kind of click and move stuff. So it's definitely getting there. We can make it a little bit more fun. Maybe yeah, it's a little bit grim that. There you go. That's much better. So once I get reflection working, then we can do serialization. So then we can start saving the scene, and then we can actually build out a proper level and have it reconstruct every time. That's future me's problem. I think now I'm going to refactor some of the renderer because it's a little bit grim. Yeah, quite pleased with that. I think it's looking... We're definitely getting there. I think as well, I'm going to hold off doing bloom because we have nothing that's really bright at the moment. And I think part of what we're going to need is emissive materials. So materials that can have... effectively emit light or have part of a texture on them that is brighter than the albedo texture. But I have to think our material system isn't geared up for that, so I need to think. But then we should have nice, like, hopefully soft blurs on like certain parts of the level, like decals or the. Or I've got to put a gun in this at some point, right? Because we pew 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 pew. So I'm going to hold off doing bloom for a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I suppose I could spend the next hour and a half or so just like admiring this model that I didn't make and the shitty SSAO that I did make. But anyway, we must make progress. So add SSAO options to debug renderer. Okay, let's look at the renderer. So there's a couple of things I've been thinking about that I really don't like. So one, I really do not like setting all the uniforms like this. I think there's a much better way of doing this. So I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just strip down, abstract out, and just generally improve the code that we've got. These should probably be debug variables, right, that we can slide. And then break this down into private functions, which I'm not a massive fan of, but I think is useful here. And then we can just have like do G buffer pass, do SSAO pass, do luminance pass, blah, 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 do light pass. Then the whole render should just be like 5 function calls. And then that then should make it kind of easier for us to think about adding in performance counters. So yeah, first things first, let's what's a good uniform one to look at? Okay, so this has all these uniforms. So let's go to the program. Okay, so I think what I want here is something like auto set uniform std unit/ut index std unit/ut value, right? Okay, probably set this down here. So there's an interesting invariant now. Set uniform is only valid if the program is in use, right? Do we set that as a precondition? As in we could do it as a proper contract when we upgrade, but do we check? I know set and constant really go together. However, it's just going to call a C function under the hood. It's just going to call geo uniform I, right? So it doesn't technically mutate any state. So it can be const. It's kind of set the uniform in the state machine, which I don't maintain any shared state with. But that's quite long and winded. One more is we should have like a use and unuse, or probably bind and unbind, and check that here, because I think that might be a useful debug thing. If I try and set a uniform on a program that I'm not using, that is a bug. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Have a flag that use sets and then unuse. I don't like unuse, so I'll probably change it to bind and unbind. Does that? Let's just abstract this out first, but I think I might come back and do that afterwards. I've already forgotten where I put it. After native handle. But because I feel like this is an event, and also it'd be a good chance to play around with contracts when I get the compiler upgraded. So this will be native handle. And then, to be honest, I think I can just pass in handle there. And then this will be index, and then this will be value. Right. Okay, so now we should be able to replace all these with what's our program? Light pass program dot set uniform 0u. Actually, hang on. There's a much better way of doing this. There you go. So that should continue to work. Progress is good. We're getting there. Right, okay, so pretty sure this is working because we're getting lights. Okay, right, so, but now, I also don't want to do this, because this is grim, right? Is that a low-key chin rub? I don't really understand any of that sentence. I do apologize. It's almost certainly, the error is almost certainly on my part. I do not have the Claude code, and if that's what you're kind of alluding to. Right, so now I'm worried that every time I'm sending messages that I'm sending the wrong signal by just touching my face. Okay. Now, I think what I want, okay, is right, because what I really want to do, if I have a bunch of uniforms, I'm going to assert that in the paradigm of this game, the uniform layout indices always start at 0 and go up. So I should be able to generate those with a template, right? So I should be able to say, give me some number of args, and in the order that you give them to me, I will call set uniform 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my plan, right? This is gonna be a little bit of stunt C++, but I think we can. I think we need a lambda. Okay, and then take a stirred index sequence. Index. Okay. With me so far. Nah, no headaches, no headaches. An immediate. What's wrong with immediately invoked templated lambda, right? Make index sequence, right? Templated on size of args. All right, yeah, you with me? Immediately invoke that. Okay. What have I missed? It's a function, isn't it? Okay. I'll get there in a minute. I'll get the syntax in a minute. It's fine. We've mostly got it. Okay, fine. So blah, 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 that goes there, and then I want to immediately invoke it with that, and then hang on, I've put these brackets in. Obviously, they go on this side. Okay, fine. There we go. Right. So now I can access the index sequence, which will be 0 to size of args, right? So I can get those at compile time, and so now I should be able to do set uniform, right? Index args, okay, and then fold. There's got to be an expression. Something like that. Probably wants third forward, although actually technically I don't think it matters. How do we feel? How do you feel about that as a bit of C++? Are we feeling good? Take every single argument you've given me and forward it on to the correct set uniform, indexed by the index it is in the template pack. Stunned silence. Okay, let's see if that actually works. So now this. Well, it should allow me to look at. Let's look at the before and after, right? Before. After. Ooh, doesn't like something there. I think it's obviously still the same number of lines because these variables were so long, but if they were shorter, it would compress down a lot more. Also, I don't have to remember to set the indices correctly. I just have to call them in the right order. Something, reflect out the argument. No, getting ahead of ourselves. Right. Of course it doesn't work. Why does it not work? What's the error? Side int. Yes, right. So I bet that needs to be size T. What are you chatting about? It doesn't like this. It's always going to be value copies anyway, so I'm not too fussed. I'm not going to pass anything I need to preserve the value category of. But why was that? Oh, hang on. Is it got to be args? Args. Yeah, yeah. Can't be. We won't be preserving our value categories. We're not animals. Don't call it twice. Not a lot I can do about that. There's a lot of functions in this code base you shouldn't call twice. Does that work? Have we solved uniforms forever? Oh, hang on. I know why. That's. No, I've never tried Rust. I definitely should try it because people always ask me, have you tried Rust? And my answer is always no, which I think is getting harder and harder to defend. Nailed it. Absolutely pure template magic. Yeah, I'm going to do all this for all the buffers and everything. Let's just abstract all this out. So let's write some let's have a bit of fun with templates. Let's have some template fun. Yeah, I think we're looking good. Okay, nailed it. Okay, so now what else? So now it's going to replace all our uniforms. GL program uniform. So else we need a float. It also means we can use custom types as well. So we could take one that takes a vector 3, for instance, and pass that through to the 3VF, whatever it is. What am I using for level creation? As in, like, the debug UI is in GUI, but other than that, just the power of imagination. Does that range always go 0 to n-1? Yes, it does. So it does always go from 0 to -1. You can make set uniforms have a count and not have the 4 different lines. Yeah, but I don't want to boomer loop, right? I want to do this. I would want to do this all at compile time, right? I could, and I don't have expansion statements yet to use context per 4. Or sorry, 4. Use template 4. So this will compile out to each of those 4 calls in line. It will effectively unroll. It will do the equivalent of the loop unroll. Yes, so it's using function overloading, and it's kind of, there's a few little C++ tricks in here, right? It's using immediately invoked lambdas, templated lambdas, function overloading, and fold expressions. So there's a few little niceties here, which should just mean the code kind of just works. Harand, hello. Whereabouts in Europe are you? Yeah, nah, can't be dealing with boomer loops. Okay, so let's just go to program super quick. I cannot take credit for boomer loop. That was Vittorio Romero, who I read in one of his blog posts. But I will use it with reckless abandon. So now we can do luminance program.set uniforms. Then we pass to this the light pass rt dot first color index, and then we pass in the min log luminance, and then we pass in whatever this horror is that I've just sort of rando calculated, max log luminance minus min log luminance. So that should work. So I think that's nicer. I think that is much nicer. Romeo, thank you. For some reason I thought there was another R in his surname, which is terrible of me, and I should know that because I've met him and spoken to him before. He was in the Discord as well at one point. Okay, I think we're crushing it. Okay. All right, now here's another one. Rife for improving. Do I need anything else other than these are all float? Can I feel like D2F comma is what I want. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. that, 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 that. Right, it's all gonna make sense in a minute. Which we can't which program this was for. Average luminance program. Average luminance program dot set uniforms. What have I done? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm down. No. Too many parens. Got there in the end. All right. This is the full extent of my integration and systems testing. Just, whoa! Yeah, it looks good, mate. Right. Oh, look at all these. Look at all these. Loads of the buggers. Let's get rid of all these. Right. Okay. Let's do. I reckon we can do. Q A D2F comma Q down norm A. Yeah, sack those off. QA Q norm A. Yes. Yes. And then this will be, again, already forgotten the program I'm using. I suppose I could probably figure it out from the arguments. Oh, it's got to be the SSAO one, hasn't it? Boom. Much better. Geometry comes from a FBX file that's just knocking around on my hard drive. Oh, wop, wop, wop. Wrong components, type or count. Program 81. Oh, have I got an implicit? I bet I've got an implicit cast somewhere. Where was that being called from? The only problem is, like, the call stack has like this miserable templated horror in it. But you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and actually you can see the arguments it's passing into it probably somewhere. Set uniforms, unsigned int, unsigned int, unsigned int, unsigned int, unsigned int, ref, float ref, question mark. Why are those references? Oh, of course they're references because these are these variables. Yeah, these are function calls, so those will be PR values, whereas these will be GL values. Fine, that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is why it don't work. 3, 4, 9. Yeah, what am I accidentally casting? That's the only problem with this, is that you will get but these should all wrong component, type or count. So which set uniform was it? It was 81. It's just probably the easiest thing to do is just run under a debugger. Piss off. Go away. Just run me code. Just do as you... Computer, do as you're told. Man, that is slow. I guess it's probably... why is this... God, it's slow. Okay, right. Up the call stack, set uniforms. So what index are we at? 2. So it's the second. So it's the third one. It doesn't like. So that would be 0, 1. So the width. Yes. What am I? What is? Do I expect those to be floats? I do, don't I? That's it. Yeah. Okay, fine. That's... If someone already said it, I apologize, but I do like to kind of verify it. So this will be... I guess there's nothing you can really do at the language level to prevent that, but at least like at runtime, OpenGL knows it's wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I was accidentally passing in and doing a weird cast inside the GPU. Width and height is, I think they're uint32Ts. Nailed it. Woo! I do like the little adaptive lerping. Like now that I know it's there, I do notice it a little bit more, and I do really like it. Right, what the fresh hell is this? So these are all right. Okay. Tone map program dot set uniforms. Just comma rich, mate. Just overload the comma operator to do something fun. Yeah, we need to get some more. By HDR lights, you just mean like light values that exceed 0 to 1. I'd probably just add some sort of multiplier on it. I don't know if that's worth doing. So have another thing. So you select your RGB color and then just have a multiplier on it. And then we can have a slider here, like intensity. We might try that later, actually, see what that looks like. I really ratchet it up. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so that's all the uniforms done, which is nice. So let's... is there anything in the debug renderer? Why is this? I suppose I better do the... I know it's only the debug renderer, but there's no reason not to be kind to it as well. No, the power is to do with the specular power, like the exponent within the lighting calculation. It basically makes the shiny bit that. Matrix. So let's do program, and let's just bring some more headers. What's a few more headers between friends? It was 3F. Oh, color actually. Is that in graphics? Is color not a mathematical concept in my world? Sure, whatever. Right, okay. So actually, we do want to potentially preserve value categories here. Const matrix 4. And color. Program, go around the bottom here, slap those there. Okay, right, and then we should be able to just yank that across and then do CF handle index. Don't know what is that 1U? What's that doing when it's at home? GL uniform matrix 4FV. Count, because I pass it in as an array. Yes, okay, fine. Got it. Value.data.data. Am I going to leave a bug so I can make a video cracking to fix it? I will be leaving many bugs, and not one of them will be intentional, but there will be many of them. Thank you. I really enjoyed collaborating with Josh. I was I just messaged him, and I was kind of surprised he messaged back pretty promptly saying, yes, let's do it. Because he's considerably bigger, has a considerably bigger channel than I do, or channels. But it was super nice getting to talk to him. And I would hope maybe more. This is not like guilty or insider knowledge. There is no plans to do any more, but I think it might be cool to do some more in the future. C2F dot value. C2FT. Hang on a minute. C2T. CT2 dot. Nope. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't really know how Vim works either. Okay, get rid of that. All right, so now we should be able to do debug light program dot set uniform. So this should actually make it a lot nicer. So we should be able to do light model and then light dot color. So that, I would say that is a lot cleaner. Oh, tired. I think he's a pretty smart guy. I don't know if you came across the video, I was super flustered at the beginning because none of my AV equipment was working. So we were set up to chat over Discord, and like nothing. We did the classic Zoom thing of like for about 15 minutes, and it really stressed me out. Okay, that still works. That's good. Okay, so there's SGGL program uniform. So they should only be in program now. Okay, fine. That's cool. That's cool. Can you hear me? Sure. I don't judge. Okay, so refactor uniform. Well, that's painful. Right. Renderer. Well, all this bind buffer nonsense. Bind buffer first, or add the precondition check. Let's finish off setting uniforms. Because, oh, excuse me, my face is itchy. Why is my face so itchy? I think, are you okay? Can you smell toast? Because all this shader buffer nonsense I want to do as well, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that with the range, because that's going to have an index in it as well. So I need to have a little think about that. I suspect there's some template horror I can do to make the interface work the way I want it to. But let's do program. So first of all, I'm going to change this to bind and unbind, right? And then we're going to have auto is bound. Nope, auto is bound, right? Okay, so let's go wire this into program. So this will start off as bound false. Okay, let's have, we've got already errors there, so let's do use. Oh, it does say use. I'm going to call it bind because I think it's more consistent with everything else, even though I guess it's technically wrong. So these should all be preconditions, which we will change when we get contracts. So we should be able to do expect not is bound. Binding and already bound, because that's a bug, right? Shouldn't be binding that more than once. And then expect is bound, unbinding and already unbound program. I believe you just pass in 0 there. Absolute psychopath naming them begin and end. You try to turn my program into a range? Outrageous. Although I guess technically because of the CPO that works with stood ranges, it would know because it doesn't return an iterator. Well, great point. Yes. Is bound equals true. Oh, can't be constant anymore. Oh. What a plot twist. Does now make a really weird interface where if it with a const program, I can't bind it to use it, but if it were bound, I sure can set a uniform on it. Yes, should we run it? Oh, it doesn't do anything interesting. Just deletes that character. How lame. It's fine. We don't have any const programs anywhere. They can't be const once, even with contracts, because I'll still need to flip the flag. All a contract does. I'll show you what a contract does. Right, it will basically become. If I get the syntax right, it will basically be pre not is bound, right? So this will basically declare here that the precondition for this function is that it is not bound, and then when you compile your program, there are 4 contract checking, contract assert modes, which are basically, and I forget the exact semantics for them. I forget the exact names, but they're basically ignore, observe, enforce, and quick enforce. I think that's them. So ignore means you strip them out. Sorry. So in release build, you can basically say just strip them all out, and there's no code that gets executed. There is observe, where it will call so you register a handler for a contract violation. Observe will call the contract handler, but continue. Enforce will call the contract handler and then kill itself, either via terminate or exit, implementation defined. And quick enforce just takes the sword and leans straight on it and kills you. So you're going to get the full control of what you want. So in debug mode, you would probably have it as enforce, or at least observe. And then in release mode, you probably have ignore. Fucking nailed it. And then you can also have post conditions as well. So I think what I want to do is basically start writing all my preconditions now using my current. So the idea is with my expect function is that in release mode, those would get knocked out. But what it does is, the whole point of this is that if you just have this header file, right? Okay, you cannot know sort of a priori what the preconditions are unless I don't call if already bound, right, or whatever, right? Like the only way to know is to either assume there's documentation or look in the code. Okay, whereas with the precondition, right, with the contract syntax, it makes it part of the signature, so it's impossible to ignore. And then you have static analysis tools which can then pick it up and do fun things. So it's a pretty cool feature, and I'm definitely going to be I've only really just kind of scratched the surface with it. I'm definitely looking into more of it. But anyway, I digress. Press the button. Done it. Nope, I have nothing. I have no plans for the game other than build the render tech first, and then do a job scheduler, and then do model skinning, and then do physics, and then do sound. And by that time, all the components are there. What I'm probably shooting for is kind of like a vertical slice of a FPS game. It probably won't be an actual full game, end to end. It'll be something you can load in, and all the mechanics of the game are there to kind of play around with, like a little sandbox. So you can spawn an enemy in, you can shoot it, you can whatever. Maybe you can keep the level editor in there and move stuff around. It will be kind of complete in the sense that all the bits are there, but it might not be a game, because I think it'll take 12 months just to get to that point. And then at the end of the 12 months, I'll take a view of whether we kind of take this and roll with it for the next project or do something different. But I just want to do the fun bits, right? Game design sounds hard and not fun. I want to do the fun bits, which is all the low-level C++ programming. Oh yes, that's a good point from Das. Yeah, you'd have pre not is bound, and you'd have post is bound, because that's your post condition. You can also use post conditions on the return value using the value name colon syntax. So you can have post conditions on your return values as well. Yes, basically, I really like your optimism there, that I'm building the tools before diving into it. What I'm probably doing is building the tools and then moving on to something else. But I appreciate your optimism. Thank you. Okay, fine. So let's do, set uniform now. So this should be expect is bound, setting uniform on unbound program. I'll just slap all these on here. I'm not going to do it on the templated one because that would call into these anyway, right? There's no route. All roads lead to set uniform, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah. I'm building the lifeboat on the Titanic. I should, yes, but I don't know whether I'm going to be able to include that when I move to contract. So I then feel like I'm taking a step back, and I don't think that'd be a good example of contract. So I'm going to omit that for now to tell a better story in the future. I think you can include custom error messages in contracts. I'm not sure. That's kind of know because I'm pretty sure he worked on the paper. Can I have a custom error message like pre? Do you do pre like and like like you do in the old school assert? Is this the only way for struct enums? I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're trying to do. Oh, I've got to wait for 20. That's 3 years away. Actually, to be fair, GCC might have it before 29 if it gets accepted into the draft. I think that's kind of needs to get back to writing papers rather than doing whatever he's doing with his evening. Where's my C string view? Okay, right. Oh, I've successfully annoyed everyone. So this should like crash spectacularly now. Oh, I mean, didn't even compile. Of course. Debug render as well. Yeah. Ooh. Because you know I'm writing an RAI wrapper to automatically call unbind. Like I'm doing it. Like, it's in the cards. A little bit further than I was expecting. Here you go. Error program bind. Does GCC also support that, or is that purely Clang specific? Okay, so program, so renderer 212, which this makes. How did it get? I guess on the second tick round, yeah, it didn't unbind it. Yeah, I just need to unbind it when I'm done. So it'd be the next bind call. I need to unbind. So this will look horrible now, but when I pull these out into separate functions, it will look a lot nicer because I'm going to each stage is going to have its own function. Like I said, I'm just going to call it. So like pass. So the next bind will be here. So light pass program dot unbind, and then his limit system dot unbind. I guess it's slightly less optimal because I'm calling these like bind zeros, but I think I'd rather slightly safer code. Almost certainly. Average luminance program dot unbind. Well, FB, you shouldn't be unbinding the frame buffers. That's fine. We're not worried about the frame buffers. We're just worried about the programs. SSAO program dot unbind. And then whatever the tomap program. So then right at the end here, we're going to do tomap program dot unbind. And then the debug render is the same. So this will be bind. So debug line program, debug line program dot unbind, and then light. I think is that it? No, there's got to be another one because then I draw the lights. Here we go. Hello. Nice. Okay. Oh, crash. Debug renderer. What have I forgotten to? I'm binding an already unbound program. Interessant. Debug renderer 283. Debug light program. Hang on, what's going on? What's going on here? Oh, was that a bug? I was bounding it twice when I didn't mean to. So that should be there. Get rid of that. There. Oh, no. Oh, light and line. Oh my goodness. Right. Okay, fine. Yeah, this should be line. That's why. Yeah, we got there. Okay, nice. Nice. Okay, that is better, I think. So let's do it. Add preconditions for setting uniforms. Right, I want to do the refactor of the renderer now. So I'm not a massive fan of private functions because I feel like they muddy up the interface. Like the header file is your documentation of what this class can do, right? So private functions are effectively like, here's all the stuff that you can't call. I'd much rather they were anonymous functions, but I think these are going to be so full of state that just passing them all to anonymous functions is actually going to be a little bit grim. So I'm kind of tempted to just do it. Let's do auto execute, run, load, fire, something. I don't want just gbuffer pass doesn't. I feel like there should be a verb in there. Execute gbuffer pass. So now so a lot of this we still need because this sets up a bunch of buffers that we could actually put out into a separate function anyway. So we want... Sorry, we definitely want these, right? And G buffer program dot unbind, right? And what else do we want? Lights come later. I think all this command count stuff is purely for this, right? So let's go 2112 here. So D211. Did not consider that. They're all going to need access to the scene, aren't they? Okay. That takes out a massive chunk of code already. So we can then do vertex buffer handle. Those might need to stay because I think those actually are global. I think everything uses those. So we'll write the camera, we'll write the light buffer data, we'll set up our vertex buffers and stuff, and then we will do execute gbuffer pass scene. See if that works. I got double unbind? I guess it'll tell me. Okay. Nice, nailed it. Nailed it. Okay. Easy, 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 easy. Right, so now the next one is going to be the execute lighting pass. Right, okay. Because also, if they're separate functions, then they're easier to like block out. So if we want to disable SSAO, we could just have if pass, then do SSAO. Obviously, the way they were wired in later, we'd have to set some sort of sensible default, but I think it makes it easier to do that. I also think it's going to make it easier for us to do performance like metrics, which we might have a little look at today if we get time. Right, so I wonder if I don't... Do I need to write... I guess we'll keep the buffer, like this, the standard buffer writing there. That's fine. What I want is all this gubbins. So like pass program all the way down to the multi-draw indirect. So that's going to go from 269. Okay. Am I right? Ooh, steady. Yeah, that is the AO doing that. Lame. Wait a minute, what are these even binding to? Yeah, but also it should... Like, the SSBO for what? Do you know what I mean? Or those globals? I don't think binding them is that expensive because it's presumably just like the data is already on the GPU. I could be wrong, but also I'm kind of confused how this works because surely what am I? Have I got myself confused again? Bind a buffer object to an indexed buffer target. Yeah, I guess yes. Right, so those don't actually. Yeah, okay, fine. So does that mean can I just assume that this is always index 0? Like, can I just bind that once to index 0? Oh no, because not all of them do it, do they? And some of them do have the other ones. Bind buffer base. I think I'll just re-get it, right? And just rebind it. I was rebinding it anyway, so... In fact, actually, I think... that might be better off in here if I'm rebinding them anyway. Because I was rebinding it here regardless. I need it for here. Right, okay, fine. Well, that's fine. We can put that back. Just copy this code over. This will all clean itself up in a minute anyway. Okay, right, so... let's see if this works. Yeah, okay, I thought it was just... It's probably just moving pointers around inside the GPU, right? Because all the data's there. It's probably just saying what you're reading from here. I'm sure there's more complexity to it than that. But ultimately, you're just telling the GPU what data, what data it already has, what slot it's in. Yeah, we're just making a game from scratch, or as much from scratch as possible. Okay, nice. Getting there. So the next one is the luminance histogram pass. So execute. Steady. What have I done? How have I managed to undo? Glad that's preserved forever on the internet. Luminance histogram pass. Yeah, I think refactoring the debug render is going to be more of this, so I might just do that off stream. I'll subject you to this once. Yes, I thought, like, yeah, uniforms was the super fast stuff that you could poke in, but not a lot of it, and then you kind of, that's why you then had, like, UBOs and SSBOs. Screen space ambient occlusion. It's fake shadows. Okay, luminance histogram. So that's going to go from there to there, 238. These are going to have to go in the scene, aren't they? There's no two ways about it. Like, we need to preserve those values. Okay, fine. Yeah, sorry. You lot cannot be trusted with links. But if you go over to Discord, there is a resources and tool channel that is, you have, I think you said unfettered, much less restricted access to post rando links on the internet. Right, let's super quick refactor in and out. 2 minutes. Exposure options, floats. Oh, now I can add these as handles, and then we can see what how the different values work. Min log luminance equals minus 3.0 f. Is that what we're playing around with? Float max log luminance equals 1.0 f. Yeah. Exposure option. Steady, stay on target. Options, and then nope. Pretty sure a lot of this could be. Oh, it is context, right? Oh man, so one step ahead here. Auto exposure options. This auto. Oro. Self return self dot exposure options. Go to main because this will not complain. Go to scene because this will now complain. Exposure options, and then exposure options. It's the move. Exposure options. Cool, thanks for code for this one out. Okay, right, so now these go away, and we can get them from scene dot exposure options dot max. If I typoed that, have I? Yes, I have. Right. Okay. AC, resubscribe with Prime. You should, I'm just saying. That is an option if you have Prime and you have Twitch. You get a free sub. And if you've not used it, just saying. We could also include this tau value in the exposure settings, so we can dynamically toggle the lerp time, but we'll do that later. Oh, man, if you don't like C++, then this is probably not the stream for you. Yeah, I don't know where the option is, but apparently somewhere you can, like, Jeff Bezos lets you have one free sub a month. Okay, right. So that was the Luminance histogram pass. So does this blend? He's on it. He's going. He's going to figure it out. Maybe I should use my free sub to subscribe to myself. Is that vain? Okay, right. So that works. Right, so the next one is going to be the average luminance pass. Oh, making great progress. Auto execute. What am I doing? Just copy and paste it. Average luminance pass. Ah, I see. C++ really isn't that bad. Like, yes, it has issues. Yes, it's not perfect. But it's not that bad. Because it allows you to write stuff like this. Like this. What's wrong with that? It's perfect. That is perfectly cromulent code. I think to say people prefer it is a massive generalization. Some people prefer it. Some people don't. I don't prefer it. Oh, this is near Vim. Okay, right. Average luminance. Let's go. Nearly there. I think it's just this SSAO and tone mapping, and then we are out of here. No, we're not, but we are. We're looking good. Right. Why is this tucked in there? Okay, my rats gone from my buffer. Is it still in my history somewhere? Like, have I got? Oh, nailed it! Yeah. Thanks, Vim. I knew it kept like a buffer of buffers. My absolutely terrible timing code just works on my screen refresh rate. Good luck on yours. Well, the whole point, right, is that the more stuff you can write as in safe for us, like the safer it is. So obviously, eventually there will have to be some unsafe stuff. But if you can move the majority of your like business logic into the safe area, then you are much more protected from issues. This is kind of like C++'s thing about something called profiles, which will allow you to basically restrict certain. I don't know if it works on. I can't remember if it works on the translation unit level, but subsets of your code to only use like safe features. And then if you couple that with standard library hardening, which came in C++ 26, you actually kind of get a lot of safety. It's less about memory leaks in C++. It's more about undefined behavior, right? Which can lead to, well, I guess, sorry. Yeah, memory leaks is a logic bug, right? Which you can have in any program. You can hold on to resources and not let go of it, right? Obviously, it's harder to do with a garbage collector, but there's still nothing stopping you persistently holding stuff and then in a loop allocating more of it. A large part of the C++ move is trying to remove undefined behavior, because that's where the nastiness is, because that's where you have use after freeze and outbound writes and outbound reads and all this sort of stuff. Right, did that work? Did I try that? Did it blend? Button. Thanks. I'm so bad at shorts. I'm such a bad YouTuber. Where am I at the project? I'm exactly there. All right. SSAO? SSAO? Okay. Sorry, this is a little bit mechanical. It's gone a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I think it's good to do. So this is going to go. Ah, someone gifted some subs. Tornos, how very kind of you. Thank you very much. And the hype train. Oh, it's all going off on Twitch. It's all happening. Thank you very much appreciated. Right, so from SSAO down to why have I just interleaved these? Just really make my life difficult. Blah. Yeah, thank you very much. How very kind. Right. Really check how your stream compression's going. I should probably try loading some more models as well, so we can have a bit more of an interesting map. But let's see if I get time to do that at the end of this. I don't know what we're going to do after this is done. Two, 4, 2. Yeah, we're Uchimuring. Frustrating. I do need to. I think we need more of a level first. Oh, that's. I'll tell you what. That is actually something we're going to do pretty soon. Is I'm going to upgrade to the GC trunk and then add a reflection and build a reflection-based serializer, so that when we move stuff around, it saves it to like a YAML file, and then we can bring it back later. So I think that's actually probably the next thing we're going to do. Probably take me that long to build GCC again. Yeah, I believe it is the Gran Turismo one. Okay, this all seems to be working, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's made like our render paths much more palatable. I do send it to me. I've already written one before for Jason with the Clang fork, but I'm happy to look at how you did it because I'm sure mine isn't that good. But yeah, I'm probably going to use YAML because I've done a JSON one before, so it'd be nice to do something different. In fact, mine was pretty naive. So the way I did it was so from JSON, I just templated it on a type that I wanted to serialize from the JSON. Then I just reflected out. This is assuming this is like a struct or something. I just reflected. Piss off. I just reflected out the non-static data members, and then just found based on the display name of that where it was in the JSON, and then I just spliced it into the object. It's only just become technically valid now as of C++26. And then going back the other way, I basically use SpinA to recurse through the members and then splice them out into the string. So I have a add method. There you go. If it's an int, then you set it like this. If it's a string, or if it dealiases to a string, then set that, and then else it assumes it's a key value pair, and then goes through the key value pairs and recursively calls into this. Yeah, I only needed it for one layer, so that's as far as I got. I mean, it will recurse through this, I think, right? Because it calls add on. It doesn't support arrays. It will basically support key value pairs, and those values can either be another key value pair or a string or an int. I only did a basic pass through, but it kind of worked all right. So I'll probably do something similar. It's kind of good fun to play around with it because then you get to write absolute horrors like this. There's an absolute other horror I wrote as well, which I don't think is really good reflection code. Where was it? But this also has reflection-based SQL, so you can give it a struct and it will reflect out an SQL query to create and insert it as well, which is quite nice. Is it controller base? Yeah, you've got to splice a meta info into the deducing this member call to get a value via promise from a returned coroutine. Whatever that is. I don't think that's the best way of doing it, but that was certainly the way I came up with first. Yeah, I'm gonna redo the toString as the formatter as well, because I still want to use the CPO based formatter, but I want to basically have enum to string automatically reflected out. There's no need for me to there's absolutely no need in C++26 to be writing a toString method for enums anymore, so I'm going to reflect all that out. Yeah, it's so much fun. I really enjoy reflection. Yeah, where's the other one I was really pleased with that I did was the DB. So you can have an annotation. So you can basically say whether something is an ID or not. And then if I got a good example of this, yeah, so you can have a class which has an ID on it, and then this will automatically reflect out based on that the SQL query to create that table in the database if it doesn't exist, and then insert a column for it, and it knows which one the ID is. So you could have primary keys and foreign keys. You could keep adding to it, but yeah, this was really nice because the idea here is that when you got a post request, and again, it would reflect out the header, the HTTP headers for post requests, and then so if you curled this site and went to /product/add with a post request, it would automatically route it to here based on the reflection, and then yeah, you could create a DB to insert it, and then and it's all coroutines. So that was good fun. But that was just with the Clang fork. So I think some of the wording has changed since then, but yeah, it was good. It was good fun. Anyway, right. CSS code. What am I doing with my life? I think the last thing I want is like an auto binder. Because I really don't like writing something and then undoing it. I'm not a fan. So let's do obj and then t obj, and then we'll do obj dot bind. Then we'll do auto bind obj dot unbind. And then we can now go to all these and we can basically say, well, let's just do one first before I go absolutely ham on it. So we can get rid of this and basically just do auto const auto bind equals auto bind g buffer program. So, and then drop this off the end here because this will RAI will automatically put that in for us. So that should still work. Oh yeah, there's secret channels for members for YouTube and Discord. It is quiet, but it does exist. Ukidogo, thank you very much, very kind. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're learning stuff. Come on to Discord. There's more to learn. Okay, right. Bish bash bosh. Done. We are auto in. So let's just quickly. I just love deleting code. All the best ifs are red. I occasionally use my mouse. Do I not clear? I guess you don't need to clear it because I'm just going to write to the full thing anyway. And there's no depth, so sure, I can't see any issues with that. I don't know if I can be bothered to. I probably should try and think about doing this bind buffer base as well. Yeah, the Discord I'd say is actually I'm super proud of our Discord. I think it's pretty lively. There's some interesting chat. There's lots of interesting people in there from all sorts of different backgrounds, which is really cool to see. Right, nearly done. Nearly done. All right, check that still blends, and that smells like a commit to me. Lavender, hello. Yeah, it's not just people shitposting the whole time. There's generally interesting talks, like people. There's interesting chats that go on, but I don't think people take themselves too seriously. It's kind of nice. It's worth curating. Okay, I think we're good. I think we are good. Moody. I do like the contrast dial. Like, I think it could look a little bit stupid, but it's kind of, some of these dials are quite nice to. I think we could end up with something that looks quite cool. Not that, but like, you know. Okay. Let's have a look. See what have we done here. I think this is unfortunately just going to be a pretty miserable commit. I suppose that there actually we can add exposure options, and then this is like refactor render. Right, we've got some time. What are we going to do? There's some stuff to do. I'm not that. I could do the bind base, but I'm not really sure how to do it with the range. And it's now that this is all kind of split out a bit, it's already a lot nicer. What do we need to do? We need to. I want to add the. I want to hack in the light multiplier. So let's do float intensity. So this will be the light pass frag. And point light here has float intensity. And I think again these probably should be defaulted. Oh well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay, light pass frag. So that's gonna be float intensity. So I guess that's going to be light color times vec3. So if we make it equal to 1 as a default, then we can really scale that up. Wait a minute. Oh, full. Light dot intensity. There's quite a few people who kind of treat our Discord as read-only, and that's absolutely fine. I try and chat where I can. I think it's important to be active in your kind of own community. Like, it's very strange for me to slap my name and face on everything and then like not. not be there. Okay, right, so that was bish bash bosh done. Main. This is going to be unhappy with this light now, so let's do dot intensity equals 1.0f. All right, let's head over to the debug renderer. I don't know what to do with the debug renderer, because this function is now massive, and like it's just a debug renderer, so I don't care too much. However, it's only going to get bigger. I don't know whether I want to split it out into separate functions like I did with the renderer. So like, you know, this builds the log widget, this builds the thing. Or if I want to build just like a much better abstraction over ImGUI to make the whole thing more composable, I suspect that's more effort than it's worth and will be fun for about 10 minutes and then tedious after that. So I might have actually just answered my own question. Anyway. Okay, so somewhere we have the entity, the inspector. So if we are in, gotta love double pointer. I'm a 2-star programmer today. That's the entity. We bosh all that. If it's the points light, then we need to have, underneath the attenuation, we want to have float auto intensity equals light intensity. Then if ImGUI slider float intensity 0.0. I know what's like 100.0f. Do we think that's gonna be? Is that outrageous? Intensert. Oh god, I hate everything. The only thing an abstraction might be nice is to kind of like get rid of all this boilerplate so that you just kind of push a value in as like a reference, and then it does all the pointer conversion for you under the hood and just sets it, because having to do this every time is an absolute pain. All right, should we see what that does? Josep, hello. Why not just add tabs on the menu? Why not do anything? Just not get around to it. Because it's a debug menu, it's not had that much love. I think OpenGL's fine. Like, get a lot of good stuff done with OpenGL. Right, okay, let's see if we can whack this intensity up. Let's bring this bad boy up here. You can get it pretty intense. Pretty intense. So if I lower the ambient, I'm trying to work out what I was hoping to achieve but with this. Why is it red? What did I change to red? I feel like that should that not be... I feel like the average luminance should be much higher, and then this should be... Oh, I've got this attached. Go away. If I just made it 2, is it just too intense? This project's fun. Should we wire the luminance ranges in as well? That's something we can do. That is a thing we can do. So... Can you have two sliders on the same thing so they don't cross over? I mean, you can't have any light less than 0. If you wanted to invert the colors, you'd have to do that as a post-processing effect. Where's the online MGUIA? Let's crash my tab. That's good. Oh, they're having a bad time with that. Online MGUI. There's an online build of MGUI somewhere which allows you to. See all the widgets. I've got a feeling it's currently broken. WebGL not available with stencil buffer. WebGL not available with stencil buffer. Okay, that's broken. That's not great. Is there like a dual slider thing? And now that I'm here. Right, anyway, fine. We'll do it as two sliders. But I just... what have I got? What have I got in the way of slide? I've got slider... What's slider 2? I don't think I have Chrome installed. Oh, whatever. Life's too short. Just don't cross the streams. I only wanted it to make sure they didn't cross each other. What's a... What do you want? Like minus 10.0 F to like what? 10.0 F? That'll do. Right, okay, fine. Fine. Bring this up. Okay, so we've got... Oh, interesting. So that's really interesting to see how it affects the histogram. So if I bring this intensity up, yeah, interesting. So we can cap the max like there. I don't really know what values I want. I can kind of see it. Change the color of this light here. It's like red. I think I probably want to turn the ambient basically off as well, right? I'm still not sure what values I want. Do you know what I mean? So this is not even. I suppose I want to clip that a little bit and bring this in. -8 and 3. I thought that's what I had. Oh no, did I not? Then what do I? How intense do I want this light? Like really, really bright? I wonder if I just need more geometry. I mean, it definitely works, right? I think maybe I need better scene, like a more complex scene to kind of really. Once you like, can I like flash it? Yeah, if you. It's been bent here probably because of the tone mapping. Like I might be able to just probably fiddle with some of these values to change how it gets shifted. This should be log 2. I think it's kind of alright. So it's actually quite noticeable if you just turn like effectively the whole lights off and whack them on. You can see it adjusting. That's actually the best way of seeing it, I think. Let's go. This guy can sling his hook. Go on, piss off. As it gets brighter, you can see the exposure adjusting for it over time. Which is pretty cool. Cool. And the gang. Right. So, dual slider. I do not have a dual slider. Ooh. No, mate. I've got dummy. Range. Float. Drag, float, range 2. You know what? I'd have to go and look at it. I'm happy with this. Right. This looks good. Let's. How easy is it to load more stuff? Because at the moment we've got these. I don't think our resource loader exposes a way of getting everything it can see. I'm happy to go a little bit later. It's public holiday tomorrow. Oh, okay. It's fine. I'm kind of happy with where it is. I wonder if the resource loader could. How's the file read? I'm not too worried about. Yeah, I'm fudging it to kind of look interesting rather than photorealistic. It's like I'm not even using PBR, and also all of my DDS textures are in linear space, not sRGB, so all the colors are wrong anyway. I'm wondering if we could do something fun like virtual auto resources third string view type third vector third string equals 0. So bear with me. I'm formulating a plan. File resource loader resources. Okay, so what happens if we when we want to load a resource, we go through all the routes and we get all the paths. So is this a range? Can I do routes stud views transform. So that would give me the root because we have to have multiple routes because we've got assets and secret assets. Return. What's I always use std file system so infrequently. I want to get all the files in a directory. Do I have to use a directory iterator? I think I have to use a directory iterator. I might have to do this as a loop, which is really upsetting. The directory iterator is it a range? Oh, it does have begin and end. I want to return. Yeah, I want to return E. Dot type. What's the constructor for this? I'll get there in a minute. Let's do const auto dir iter equals third file system directory iterator. That takes a path, so that should be root. Overload the division operator to concatenate the path, obviously with. Can I concatenate without a string view? Return the iter third views views filter What does that? What's the iterator give me? I'm trying to. I just want to get everything in the directory. So that would give me a begin directory iterator. Yeah, that's fine. Access. What type? So directory entry, and then so filter const auto e return e dot is regular file. Right, bear with me. Third ranges to third vector. Okay. Oh my goodness. Don't have backward. Okay, so that will transform that each root into a vector of files. Okay. Then that's what that returns. Close that off. Close that off. Pipe that to stud views join stud ranges to stud vector. It shouldn't be because the lambda. If I don't put it in the capture list, the lambda, it won't see it. It is regular file. It might need to be that actually. Nope. Is a vector of file system parts. Okay, so to transform each of those into a dir iter, but take that dir iter and itself filter it out to stuff that is only a regular file, and then I think I need actually then stud views transform auto e return e dot string. Actually, I just want the e dot path dot string. We're gonna have to log this and see what we get. Path dot file name dot string. Thank you. Obviously, I've got some other. I have other issues here. I just what was that guy saying? I didn't like C++. Right. What horrific mess have I made? So that transform looks legit. This is missing a whole host of shit. That's missing that. Okay, we're getting there. Double pipes? Oh yeah. Non-static member must be called. Pretty sure like the directory entry I get represents a directory entry. This object source member during directory iteration, and you can just do is regular file. Oh, it's a function, that's why. My bad. Okay. So why can I not join them? I want to flatten. I have a range of ranges, right? And I want them to be one singular range. Why is that not? Why can I not? Because this converts this into... Do I need another... I shouldn't need to reapply that, right? What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm sure I've used this elsewhere. Oh, it's not a... You just pass it to the option, the object. Okay. And then return. Yeah. UFPS log. Clanky has given up. Resource loader dot resources models. It might, because of the way I'm doing this with Windows and with WAS and Linux, it might not format. I might have to manually format that. Yeah, but like, where's the fun? There's no fun in writing a for loop. For loops are boring. I will assert now, for loops are boring. Oh, man, it found them. It found them all. There's no way that worked. There's no way that worked first time. There's absolutely no way. There's no way that horrific range just worked. I thought I'd be debugging that for hours. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Well, now we can filter it based on ending in .fbx, right? So that's... No. But the solution to this is just more ranges. So what we're going to do is we're going to do const auto models to load equals resource loader resources models filter on stud views filter const auto e return e dot ends with, what's the stud string, is it? I was absolutely shocked that worked. Ends underscore with. Ends with dot fbx. And then filter that stud views dot transform the format models e stud ranges to stud vector. All right, should we see what happens? That is the pipe operator. So it basically it allows you to compose views, right? So a range is just effectively an abstraction over two iterators, right? Effectively, right? And a view is a range which does some mutation on it. So a filter view takes a range and filters out ones that don't match the predicate or transforms them. I don't know how long this is going to take. There's an awful lot of models to load, but I guess we'll just see what happens. I can't see the log file. If this is, I might need to profile it. If this is like really dog shit slow, I will have to profile it because there's no way we're going to be doing this at the start of every well, mesh match material count in model file. That's in utils.cpp, like graphics utils. So I had found 6 meshes, 5 materials. Why do I need to know? That feels like a bug we had. Why was I ensuring that? Part of the problem is also I'm loading it through from WSL, so I'm effectively, I think it's basically doing a network transfer to get all the assets. So that might just be my problem. Where am I using this index? I'm indexing on the number of loaded meshes, and am I using that into the materials? Okay, so this just needs to be greater or equal to that. Yeah, you chain them, use the pipe to chain them together, right? To compose. If you've ever done C#, it's very much like LINQ. I might have to think about this because we're going to want all the assets in the pack, but I don't. I don't. That just died. That just straight crashed. It didn't like Framlock door 3 Framlock 02. I'm just going to quickly check under a debugger what happened. Otherwise, I might just stash this and do this another day. But it was kind of fun to look at. I just want to write some ranges. That's an absolutely outrageous range as well. There might be some models in there that just not necessarily ill-formed, but don't match the assumptions we made about the previous models because it's just a massive pack. So how's everyone doing? Yeah, LINQ. I think C# LINQ is a good analogy to ranges. Obviously, the mechanics under the hood are different, but conceptually what they allow you to do is kind of similar. I got the get texture count. Where's my code? So I said I want to get what's bad here. Material, a bad material. Does this? Oh, have I got my predicate the wrong way around? Yeah, it is because this. I said this is greater than that, so this needs to be. I think I just wanted to skip the bad ones. If index is greater or equal to scene m number materials, longer worn, skipping bad model. Have I got a name? Do I have a name at this point? Oh, is this a stupid custom string that doesn't convert to, yeah. Okay. The debugger is just VS Code. I use the min GW GDB as the backing end because VS Code just sits on top of a debugger abstraction layer, right? So it just uses that to point to this. Did I not put the did I not put the continue in? That's what I did. You're right, I did not. Good spot. I don't know what nvim-dap is, so the answer would be no, I've not. Oh, yeah, no. Any attempts I've ever tried, because I used Vim for years before I moved over to NeoVim, and any attempt I had to try and get a debugger working through that just was painful. It's just easy. VS Code's pretty good. Error. Mesh exists. Thank you. That is not... So it definitely loaded a load more stuff. Why? Why is it trying to load the same model more than once? How can I have a duplicate name when... Oh, within the... Yes, you're right. I'm just going to try and hack this in now, so I just wanted to see what happens. Don't write code like this. Don't do it. It's whoever gets there first. Just gotta swallow it. It's a Pokemon exception. You gotta catch them all. Just wanted to see if it loads them all. I just want to see what we've got. I've never really looked at all the other models. 927. What? Pretty sure that throws and I catch it. Oh, is it not an error? Is it sorry, is it not an exception? I remember having this discussion and being like, should I make this an error contract? Yes, but do I provide any way of querying if it's already there? No. I think this might just be too much to do. Oh no, you can query this. Oh no, but that ensures it's there. So I've got a bit of a mismatch in my narrow and wide contracts. But 47 people have just showed up in a raid, so now I've got to do something. Hello. I'm currently regretting all my life choices. Let's do mesh manager. Auto has mesh. Strong view name. Ponds. Thank you for the raid, by the way. Much appreciated. Just like I said, getting increasingly grumpy at the my own ineptitude. Return mesh lookup dot contains name. Right. Right. Yes, I think a lot of this stuff kind of is just because it evolves so organically, and I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about the design sort of a priori to just like shitting out a load of code. I think a lot of the contracts kind of probably need reassessing, and I would think you're probably right. It should probably try load, but anyway, all we can do, try and make it work. If not mesh manager dot has mesh name, and I know the logic's the wrong way around. If it does have it, don't bother. All right. I know, but I don't have work tomorrow, so just all my interface design. And yeah, but we shall see. We shall see. I just want to see if this works. So I basically have a bunch of assets that are on disk, and I've just so far been testing, just picking one or two and loading them. So now I'm trying to expand the code base so it just finds all of the models and just like slaps them straight into the game so that I can then use a drop-down menu to add them into the scene. But I'm having issues. Something's happening. Something is happening. If it's going to be this slow, it is not great for developing and streaming, so I'll have to come up with a better idea. But let's just see if it works first. I might even just stash these changes and just know that they're there for future. I was just kind of curious with a little bit of time left whether this was possible or not. I also have no idea what's in this asset pack, like other than X2 cross piece 4, whatever it is we've got so far. Okay, I'll at least have some text moving. Yeah, we're basically doing as much from scratch as possible. So it's a custom renderer, it's going to be a custom job scheduler, going to do custom animation handling, custom particle effects, basically everything, but it's all the custom windowing code. So custom OpenGL function resolution. The only thing I'm probably going to pick off the shelf is a couple of file format parsers and a physics engine, just because I don't have the patience or probably the knowledge to do that. God, this is slow. These all been file mapped. These all been like, well, not mapped. Was it map viewer filed in? But it might just because it's going through WSL. They're slow. Really, just filling up my graphics card with random meshes. So anyone who's just joined us, you've joined us at an interesting time. We now get to just watch text scrolling. Yeah, I think that's one. There's also doing quite a lot of logging. I think there's a couple of things for me to try. One, just running it outside of WSL because that's definitely something we can do. It's not ideal, but it's definitely something we can do. Running outside OSL, running a release build, and then running it through the profiler, because I got the the VS Code, sorry, not the VS Code, the Visual Studio profiler to set up to work with it, so we can see like the percentage time it spends in all the functions. It's a little bit of a faff because I have to run a tool built by the D community to convert the dwarf debugging information into a PDB file so VS Code can. Oh, fuck off. Oh, nice. NVIDIA OpenGL driver detected overflow of memory residency limits. I assume I just cannot have all that data in there then. That's going to be interesting. I hadn't really considered that. I just assumed I'd be able to put everything into the graphics card. There very well might be repeats. Found mesh SMD. Oh, yeah, it seems. Why is it loading? I bet there's loads of shit in there. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. I went for the 5090. Okay, this was a failed experiment. But that is okay. For people who have just joined us, let's do a quick build and show you what it actually looks like. Oh, my CPU fan is spinning. It did not like that. We'll have to have a rethink about resources again. Right, here we are. So we've got a little cross section of a level. We have a light. We can click and move. Change the color of the light. Change the intensity of the light. Add lights. We can add. So this is where all the loaded meshes go. So I really wanted more here. So we can add another one of these. And then where's the little handle gone? There it is. This will snap over. Stick that there. Thank you. I am indeed on the YouTubes. Just use Claude. Oh man, there's literally no fun to be had by doing this in Claude. Absolutely. Claude will be able to. I'm not doing anything novel, right? Claude will shit out this pretty easily, and there is, for me, no fun in that. Anyway, so other features that we've got, we have. You can't really see it now because it's blown out so much. Here you go. You've got SSAO, deferred renderer, not optimized. That's a lot. That's we're going to need to do a whole. We're going to burn a couple of streams on optimizing the rendering process. But point lights. We've got custom. We calculate the average luminance of the scene and then use that to dynamically change the exposure. So if I just switch this light off, if I basically turn the global light on and off, it's hard to see. There's maybe not a great example of it here, but you should see it kind of darkening and brightening as if your eye was adapting to the light. You should see a little pulse there as it kind of is each frame. It works out what the average luminance is and then adjusts to it. Why was the SA buffer for white? I don't know, probably a bug, probably my terrible code. But yeah, I don't know, it's getting there. We've done quite a lot. We've got custom tone mapping. We've changed some values on this. Ugh. We're changing that. Yeah, it's all pretty good. It's all coming together. I've always got new stuff to learn. But anyway, that's about as far as we have it's about as far as we've made it. Right, let's just stick this in the Git. Let's just check everything's in the Git hole. I'm going to merge this and do a release. Apparently there's something wrong with one of the build steps. Hang on. I don't think grep handles git ignored files. E dot. Let's take GitHub actions, not the Discord notify workflows release. Yeah, I think I need here. -d UFPS use embedded resource loader was what? So I think it was building. The whole point is that the release build should use the embedded resource loader. I wonder why it was so fast to release, because it should take it should take bloody ages because of all the resources it's got to pack. Type in. Oh yeah. We'll see if that works. Yes, I'm using Docker in WSL2 on Windows. So the build system's all Dockerized, so it's reproducible. It works on the CI server, and then kind of anyone else wants to build it can just use it. Yeah, it kind of works for me. Right, let's stick that up in the Git hole. Stream 24. Cool. I will kick that off on the CI side now. The code is freely available if anyone's interested. This tone mapping branch has gone on. It's gone on long enough. Create pull request. Just check it all builds. Hang on, what's I got a button for this? Whoop. Hello. Why C++ not C? Because a couple of points to that. One, I know C++ better than I know C. Two, I personally think C++ is better suited for large-scale software engineering projects. Yeah, I build a Windows executable. I'm basically cross-compiling for Windows. So I want to build for Windows, but I want to use a Linux development environment. So I cross-compile using WSL to get a PE file effectively, and then something like WSL Magic it runs. I think that's about all I've got. Oh no free gifts for people on YouTube, obviously. Oh, nearly forgot. I should just logged off now. You're gonna feel like alright, fool. Can't believe Queco got it. Absolutely outrageous. If I could take that away from you, I would. Brutally unfair. I'd say you get early access to the videos, but I don't know when the next video is going to be. I am really stuck on the next video, like really stuck to the point where I don't. Well, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going on through it, but it's going to probably take a little bit longer because it's a really miserable issue. No, you absolutely don't have to. Absolutely don't have to. Typo in M. Oh yes. Ugh. Oh well, too late. It's it's gone into Git now. Embedded. I'll fix that in post. Oh, Queco, you're too kind. Thank you very much. How very kind of you. Congratulations, Mr. Butlicker. Subject of the next video is under I play it quite close to my chest because there's every now and then I hit a project that just is so much more complicated than I thought it was going to be. So I don't want people to expect something and then I have to like bin it after a few weeks, after a few more weeks. I'm kind of at that point at the moment. I've got a reasonable idea what the end goal is, but I'm still feel like I'm quite far away from getting there. Plus I'm off, so if any of you have received blessings from above there, do head over to Discord. Well, you should head over there anyway, but there's also, if you link the accounts, there's like an extra special room. No one really talks in there, but you can feel smug that you can see the messages that are just me saying, hey, there's a new video out, with other people. Yeah, so I'm going to keep on trucking with the next video and see where we get to. I do have a massive backlog of stuff, so I can always context switch if I need to. In terms of streaming next, future streams, I am now away for a week. So no stream this Sunday and the following Wednesday. However, the following Sunday, I should be back, and I should be back pretty much regularly then. So if you're new here, hello, welcome. Stream Sunday and Wednesday and Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time, which is currently BST, so UTC +1, or GMT +1, I guess, if you prefer. I guess that's all she wrote. The build is building. I would show it, but I've made a mistake before of doing that. So 12th of April, planned next stream. Yes, so I wanted to make up for being away for a little bit. So we did a super long stream yesterday, we did a bonus stream today, and actually streamed for quite long today. Someone has just now Cone Hasido. Hello, and also goodbye, because I'm just finishing. But actually, should we move let's move the Twitch people somewhere. Let's see if there's anyone else doing anything. Let's pay it forward, because we've had a few raids recently, and I feel like I've not been good at paying that forward. So if you are on Twitch, and let's see if anyone's doing C++. Nope. I do only tend to send people to other C++ channels. Or once, just a chair with a guy in the background arguing with his mother. That was a raid. No, I'm afraid no one's C++ing. It's just not popular. Just not popular. Right. I'm gonna have a beer. I'm gonna hang around on Discord for a bit. But I'm gonna have a beer. And I'll see you all anon.